Verið sæl og velkomin í Íslensku fyrir útlendinga. Hi, and welcome back to Icelandic for Foreigners. In this video, we're going to continue our lessons in prepositions of time, specifically talking about the preposition eftir. Let's jump right into it. Now, the direct translation of eftir is after in English, and it is used to indicate how far in the future something will happen. In English, we express this with the preposition in. And the other thing you need to know about this is it's always followed by the accusative, whether that's a unit of time, a number, or an adjective. Let's look at some example sentences so you can see what I'm talking about. Hún kemst eftir 5 mínútur would translate to she'll arrive in 5 minutes, or she'll arrive after 5 minutes is a helpful way to remember it. Eftir mánuð ætla ég að flytja aftur til Frakklands. In a month, I will move back to France. Við verðum búin eftir rúma viku. We will be done in a little more than a week. Now, a quick note about prepositional phrases in Icelandic, and I've mentioned this in my other videos on prepositions of time. Often the prepositional phrase will come after our subject, verb, and object, like in this sentence. Hún ætlar að borða eftir 2 tíma. She will eat in 2 hours. But we can also put the prepositional phrase at the beginning of the sentence. And when we do that, we need to reverse the position of our subject and our verb. In this case, we have 2 verbs, but we only reverse the position of the first. So we have eftir 2 tíma ætlar hún að borða. In 2 hours, she is going to eat. Now let's talk about some of the accusative nouns that we'll use. These are the units of time. Now these slides are the exact same as the ones that I made for the preposition e when expressing duration. So you can also just go ahead and skip over to that video, or if you've already watched it, then you can skip this part. But just as a quick recap, these are the nominative forms of the nouns we're going to use. Sekunda, second. Minuta, minute. Klukkutími, hour. Dagur, day. Vika, week. Mánuður, month. And ár, year. Here are the accusative singular forms of all of those, and here are the accusative plural forms. Now moving on to the numbers that we use with them. The accusative numbers, starting first with masculine. The accusative masculine word for 1 is eitt, which is what we'll use with klukkutíma, dag, and mánuð. For 2, 3, and 4, we also have special forms, tvo, þrjá, and fjóra, which we're going to use with the plural for hour, day, and month. An example would be eftir 3 daga, in 3 days. Let's go to the feminine. For 1 is eina, so we're going to use that with sekundu, mínútu, and viku. And the plural, 2, 3, and 4, we have tvær, þrjár, and fjórar with the plural form. So an example would be eftir eina viku, in 1 week. Let's look at neuter. The word for 1 is eitt, so we're going to use that with ár, year. And 2, 3, and 4 are tvö, þrjú, and fjögur. And the plural form of ár is also ár. So an example would be eftir 2 ár, in 2 years. And the numbers from 5 to 20 don't change in their form, but once you get to 21, then you have to start using those accusative forms again. Tuttugu eitt for masculine, tuttugu eina for feminine, and tuttugu eitt for neuter. And that holds true for 22, 23, and 24, and then 31, 32, 33, 34. Now let's go on to some accusative adjectives that you might use. Marga, margar, or mörg, which is the accusative form for many, or nokkra, nokkrar, and nokkur, which means some or a few. So we might say, for example, eftir marga daga, which means in many days, or after many days. Eftir nokkra daga, in a few days. Eftir margar vikur, in many weeks. Eftir nokkrar vikur, in a few weeks. Eftir mörg ár, in many years, or eftir nokkur ár, in a few years. Some other adjectives you might use are hálvan, hálfa, and hálft, which means half, and rúman, rúma, and rúmt, which means a little more than. And we'll also talk about smá on this slide. So here's an example. Eftir eina og halva viku means after 1.5 weeks, or after 1.5 week. Eftir rúmt ár means in a little more than a year. And then this last phrase is just one that you should remember because it's used very often, eftir smá, or eftir smá stund, which means in a little bit. That's all I have for this video. I hope it was helpful. Please feel free to leave comments or questions below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good one. Bless, bless.